Peace, family. This is Rashawn, aka Yogi Ross, Roscoe, and all those people who know me. You know what I'm saying? Just wanted to check in and do a video. This is about my locks. I've been free forming for about almost like 2 months now. 2 months be Thursday when I did the big chop in January 22nd. About like 8 years of locks. I was trying to get them to thicken together, and I had braided them, sewed them together. Just weren't working out how I wanted them to be. So I decided to start all over. You know what I'm saying? Heard some good things on YouTube here by a lot of good people. First off, by everybody probably has referenced this brother Cupid Valentino 1. A lot of great information that the brother has shared via Bob Marley and every other thing that he's used to pretty much debunk the whole having to use a loctician to start off your locks with. Even, you know, like he said, one of the greatest people who has who we all look to. You know, we wear the t-shirt, we, you know, understand the struggle and everything the brother went through. But as far as like it being a lifestyle and not just a hairstyle with Bob Marley, so that was kind of one of the biggest reasons why I started all over. Being that you know, I live in an environment, a community of people who try to live close to nature, so that was kind of like right up, or not kind of, it's like right up my alley by doing things as natural as possible. You know, I live on 13 acres, and you know, we grow our own food, peppers. I mean, you know, it's an Ayurvedic community. It's a holistic community. So, you know, what better way than to, you know, do something as we look at it as smallest thing as your hair, but you know, it's like a big thing for me. That was like a part of my identity by having locks. You know, a couple of times I try to come off a couple of friends, but like, no, you can't do that. Don't cut your hair off. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. And I know I told a lot of people like, man, I never cut my locks off again. But you know, with finding out more information and the more you know, it just was a natural thing. It was like a lot of weight that was lifted off of, and then it was like a lot of build up in those locks. You know, trying to do the HCV rinse or AVC or whatever it is, it just wasn't working for me, and it left my skin irritated around my forehead. It just wasn't no good. So and it just felt like a chemical, like what Cupid said, like a chemical bath on my head and on my skin. It just didn't feel right. So, like, you know, a couple of times I did it 2 or 3 times, and my locks were about shoulder length, and the longest they've ever been is like all the way down to my waist. So it just didn't feel right. So, you know, after a lot of thought, you know, everybody who has locks, when it comes that time for you to think about chopping them off, it was just like, nah, I just go ahead and freeform with what I got, or cut off the ones that's like straggling along. So, you know, then it was just like, nah, just the more information I got by looking at a lot of people who are freeforming, like it's so many people who I've looked at. I don't want to even try to begin to name other people, but also I want to shout out Hip Hop Health Network. You know, that brother has a lot of great information, and you know, countless other people who I subscribe to. I want to try to say the names, but I don't want to pronounce them wrong. So all of the sisters who've been freeforming, even like Naps for you, some other people. I just want to thank y'all for going ahead and sharing the information. We're putting it out there. I want to share a lot of information with being holistic. Also, a science that we practice here at Shanti Villa, where I stayed in our eco community called Agnihotra, which is a way to relieve stress. It also purifies the atmosphere as well. So I'm going to be sharing a lot of information here on my channel. So tune in. I just want to thank y'all again, and for, you know, a little shot at the hair. This is kind of like we going almost into sunset here in Tuskegee, Alabama, Red Tails town. Yeah, I just did a rosemary, lavender, aloe, peppermint, all herbs. Got a herb. Got some herbs up down yonder. Probably can't see it. This is camera phone, so I probably walk down there, and I got some sage down by a little cabin down there. Some sage and the aloe that I actually use. So everything that I put into my rinse is pretty much either grown on my property, on the property here, or some of it with the sage was pretty much bought, but I use it as well as the aloe or whatever. So if you can grow it, go and buy it and then use it, or plant it and then use it for your rinses. Also put some neem in there as well, which is great for the skin, also for your hair and things like that. Peppermint is great if you can get some peppermint. I usually get the bulk stuff, like the bulk teas. Usually buy like the like green tea and the bulk stuff. If you in like Atlanta or wherever your health food store, you go to the bulk section and get it, put it in a little baggie. It ain't gonna cost you too much for this. Or if you don't want to do that, you can go to the health food section or your grocery or whatever and get it in a box like the peppermint tea and just put it in your rinse or whatever. Yeah, the neem is great, but this is like me just doing the rinse. And it's been about 2 months. You can kind of like see a lot of the areas where it's kind of starting to form its own sections and whatnot. I don't know how that looked to y'all, but yeah. Got one back here that's kind of starting a lot. And yeah, this time around I haven't twisted any of them, the whole towel method, if you want to say that. Like, I use the towel method. I try not to do it too much because I don't want them to be small. I want them to be like big bobo locks or whatever. So I might stop doing the towel method and just just dry it or whatnot and just go. But basically that's what I do. I try to do about 2 or 3 rinses, or as many rinses as I can do. Right now I'm using black soap to just wash it with. I did the Kurtz Castell. The Kurtz Castell was pretty good. It's just really, really foamy, almost like a body wash. It's like as soon as the water hit it, it just seemed like it's just an explosion of of lather. So the black soap does the same thing, but it just rinses a lot better, and you can keep it moving, rinse it out, dry it off, and keep it going. Now is real great because the sun is coming out. Before, y'all know, being that I'm a spiritual environmentalist, this weather was acting real crazy. One minute it'd be 37 degrees, and the next minute it'd be 87 degrees or 77 degrees, or how have you. But now it seems to kind of like balance off or whatnot, kind of going into spring. So hopefully, we can stay at this for a good while. But yeah, this is about 2 months. 2 months of free forming. Enjoying it and learning to be patient. It's going to require a lot of patience because, usually when you twist, and if you guys can see that, like when I cut my other locks off, my hair was like ridiculously long. Still was kind of long, but now you can kind of see it's kind of coils back up, and you can see all the spiral patterns that the brother shared, Cupid Valentino. It's all spiraling off. The more you do your rinses, the more you dry it off, it'll do its own thing. You don't really have to get anybody to twist it. I remember when I first started locking my hair back in 96, 97, the first time I actually tried to, it was braided, and my mom was like, nah, let me take that out. Started all over. Then I had a sister when I was in college. She twisted it up. She twisted it up for me, and she used some gel, and I had a couple other sisters. Shout out to Quasita. She used the aloe gel, which is, probably the closest thing to natural as possible back in that day. And went from there, and it worked. But I don't think it's anything like this whole method here. Just wash it and go, which is a lot easier. Back in them days, sisters was charging like $70, and no disrespect to anybody who is a loctician. My parents, they have locks now. After years of being like, no, why do you want to have locks? Nah, they got locks, so they do people's locks. My father has retwisted one of my cousin's locks, but yeah, it's like, you talking about up to $70, and like when I wanted to take my locks, which was a lot thinner, and thicken them up, sister wanted to charge $125 just to braid them all together. And I know that's work, but that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money you can save by just growing your hair naturally, letting it twist on its own. You just wash it and go. And I want to say the whole I don't want to call this the neglect method, because me personally, I can't even see why people would say neglect, because I put so much care into. I've never put so much care into my hair ever, period. You know what I'm saying? Even when I was getting haircuts or whatever, I mean, 2 and 3 rinses a day, gathering herbs. It's work that go into this, so I don't see why people call it the neglect method. If you're talking about neglecting your hair, I mean, you're not neglecting your hair. If anything, you're putting love into your hair when you do these rinses and you washing it. And for people to say, oh, locks are dirty, they look this, that, and the third, a lot of spiritual aspirants, they wear locks, like the Sadhu Rastas. You look that up on YouTube, if you're on YouTube now, Sadhu Rastas. It's a method to the madness of having locks and foregoing vanity, if you will. That's the reason why, understanding why I felt compelled, also being a youth, went down to Jamaica at a young age, and I saw all the rosters and some of the, just young guys who had locks on the Dunn's River Fall, and I knew from then I wanted to have locks. So yeah, I just, when I came to be about like 19, 20, almost 21, I was like, okay, it's time to do it. So I started. Hadn't gone back. A couple of times, had to cut them off for, what I thought was good work reasons, but, a couple of people was like, nah, man, you gotta do it, grow your locks. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. I might come back probably in another 2 months and share again, how the growth has been going. But I've been trying to do this video for a minute now. Like, I was gonna do it like a month ago, in February, but Divine saw fit for me to do it now, so I'm sharing with y'all. Yeah, if I'd have known what I know now, but it was time for me to know it now and not then. So it's a growth process, it's a path. Yeah, paying, and even in them days, when I was paying the $25, which is probably the cheapest, that could have been $25 for some books, some gas, or some food or whatever, or things that I might have needed, as opposed to like sitting in somebody's house or somebody's salon and letting them twist my hair, which is something, if you have this kind of hair, it'll just do it on its own. Yeah, I mean, really efficient. Yeah. Just wash it. You know what I'm saying? Dry it. Let it go. Yeah, do what it do. That's it for now. This is Rashawn, Ross, Yogi Ross. Peace, family.